Welcome everybody to the Photo Memoirs. My name is Don. I'm a photographer here in Seoul, South Korea, and I'm sharing with you some of my photography. So last month, we took a little trip away from Seoul. We went down to the southern island, Jeju Island, very famous in South Korea. A very nice, very cool little getaway, especially after this uh, pandemic that's been going on. We've been kind of cooped up here in Seoul in the city, and it's kind of been nice to get away from that for a little bit, just to go spend some nice quality family time, and of course do some photography. So we went down to Jeju, and of course it's an island, so there's lots of beautiful things to go and take photos of, and this is one of those scenes. We just on the first day, very, it wasn't a great day. It was kind of crappy out actually. It thankfully it didn't rain actually, but it was overcast, it was cloudy. There's no blue sky, so everybody just thinks this is not the greatest time for taking pictures, but actually in reality that is actually an excellent time to take photographs, especially because there's no strong light source. When the sun's up in the sky, everything gets this very harsh light, but when you have it overcast, you have this nice little soft light. So I definitely took advantage of that. So we went to the seaside, and I decided to go and do some long exposure. It was nice and windy. The breeze was great actually, nice and refreshing. But the waves were coming in, splashing all over the place, so it was perfect to do some long exposure photography. So let's get to it. Let's see what I have for you. Okay, so this is one of the first photographs that I'd like to share with you. So I went down right next to the sea, got right up there close to the water. The waves were coming in, splashing. I was getting a little bit wet, but whatever. I got my tripod out, I got my camera set up, I have my ND filter on, and so because of that, I'm able to get this really long exposure, even in the daylight. So if you take a look at this photo, this was shot at 10 seconds, right? The exposure time was 10 seconds, shot at f22 at 100 ISO. Now I did a few little edits of this exact same photo. I want to get your opinion down in the comments. What do you think looks better? So we have this kind of more darker tone, a very light tone. So, very misty, very, kind of cloudy looking, I guess, or, somewhere in the middle. So, yeah, I'm back and forth. What one do I like better? Do I like, the darker tone? Do I like it very bright? And I actually really do like the bright one as well. So I'm really torn. Which one do you think is the best one? So we got this darker, where you get more detail into the rocks, get more, of course, the sky. Of course, you get the kind of dark gray there in the sky, which I'm not that big of a fan of. I can do something about that more in post process, but I'm just leaving it like that is. Uh, very bright, bright highlights, keeping the whites up. Uh, yeah, it looks like a completely different thing. And then, just in the middle, somewhere between those two. Which one do you like the best? I'm really struggling with this one. I might say the middle, this one, just because it's in between. But again, I'm at a loss for that one. I'd really love to know what you guys think. You like the dark one, you like the light one, or you like the one in the middle? Just let me know down in the comments. So these were, again, 10-second exposure, f22, ISO 100. How is that possible in the middle of the day? Well, because I'm using my ND filter. So I have my Canon 60 Mark II. I have a 35mm lens, and with it, I'm using an ND filter. So that lets me it's like they say it's like sunglasses for your camera. So you pop it on your lens, then just you just pop it on the end of your lens, and then it lets you get more dark images. So I can expose it more, and then what happens is I get this nice misty kind of water. This moving water suddenly becomes this kind of flowing, very interesting, very, very creative type of flowing image. And I really love that. So I was having a lot of fun just playing around and trying to see what I can come up with. Okay, just changing a little bit over there. Okay, so yeah, we're continuing on. And so you can tell with these, the water was coming in, hitting the rocks and making these big splashes. So now, yeah, you can tell right away it's not as drastic as the last image. Here we're shooting at only 0.8 of a second at f8, 100 ISO. Okay, so 0.8 of a second, f8 at ISO 100. Let's see what I got here with this composition. So the water waves in, smashes up against the rock, and then you get these, just these white splashes everywhere. It's coming all the way up to me at some of these points. So yeah, right at these rocks here in the foreground, as soon as it gets to that point, that's where you see all the water is just turning white. It's because it's all splashing coming up. I got a few different photos, and I really like this photograph. So in this instance, the wave is coming in, but it hasn't hit the rock yet, and so it looks really interesting. It's a really fascinating photograph for me, and so yeah, I thought it was really cool. I thought this was really cool. I thought, hey, when I was there and I was shooting the photographs, I was mostly focusing on the waves, right? The waves hit the rock and then make the big splash, and I was focusing on the after splash more than before they hit the rock. And at this point something just switched, and I tried a little bit differently, and I got this photograph, which was before, just slightly before these waves hit this rock. And now we're looking at the same thing. We're looking at 0.8 seconds, f8, ISO 100. Yeah, so I really like this photograph. Keeping in the blue there as well, right? Not changing it all to black and white. Actually, none of these photos are black and white photographs. These are all color photographs. That was just the environment, basically. I didn't convert these to black and white. These are black volcanic rocks here in Jeju Island. And then, of course, with the long exposure of the water, it just kind of looks more grayish. And of course, the sky is also more gray than anything else. Moving on here. All right, so same scene. This is probably right after, right? The wave comes in, hits the rock, you get the big splash. And I love this as well. You got the, it just looks more creative, more interesting. And if you want to get that, misty, very smooth flowing water, you have to, bring your exposure time up. You have to expose it longer, and that's easily doable. I think I paid maybe like $20 for an ND filter. $20 for an ND filter. Pop it on the lens, and suddenly your whole world changes. You can take these photographs. You get this creative control in order to do that. And so, yeah, if you don't have an ND filter, get one. They're not too expensive, and they can do wonders for you as you if you're doing photography at the sea, if you're doing photography even in the city, you can get away with doing some really cool stuff, some longer exposures, even in the middle of the day. So really cool. If you haven't done it, do it. Get an ND filter, test it out. Let me show me your results. Take me on Instagram or Twitter or something. Show me what you come up with. Okay, yeah, so just the same little scene here. Here's a different one. A little bit less for time, so I'm not doing these super long exposures anymore. I'm getting more quick. I think my family's been calling me at this time whenever I'm coming in. So basically, yeah, I'm trying to hurry up just a little bit more. Get these photos. This is the same. This is 0.8 second, f8, ISO 100. Yeah, I think it could have been a little bit better. Maybe the composition could have been much better, but you know, I was just playing around, having a good time. Again, the wave comes in, splashes up. Here on my editing, definitely push the blues up more. And then yeah, these are now completely different. Check out the water on this, and check out the water on this one. And so this is completely different now. So this is 0.8 of a second. This is now 1/50th of a second. Okay, so it's drastically changed. All right, you don't got that flow anymore. You're catching more of the action. You can see the actual splashes. So it's quite different. So if you want that misty feel, you really have to ramp up that exposure time. Again, less time here, so I'm just playing around more with it. Yeah, I could have basically spent all day here, and I could have done lots of longer exposure shots. But you know, when you're on a trip with your family, you also want to, you know, go spend time with your family and stuff like that. So you're limited in what you can do. You do what you can. There. I like this shot. I generally do not spend a large amount of time in processing, but as you can tell with this one, I spent more time to, you know, work on it here in Lightroom. And I don't do Photoshop. I don't like to, you know, manipulate the image too much. I just like to, you know, adjust some of the color and some of the settings, but I might have overdone it with this one. I'm not sure. I think it looks cool like this right now, but you know, after the hype dies down, I might come back to this, you know, a month later and think, wow, I really overdid it. So let me know what you think. Do you think it looks good like this? Is it okay? Or do you think I just really overdid it? If so, don't worry. Let me know. I won't be offended. I have the feeling too that I kind of overdid it. So, but I still like it. That's why I'm sharing it with you. So this was an overcast day, right? So there was really no, you know, this effect that we're seeing in the sky. You could not see that with your eye. Okay, you cannot see that with your eye. This was, you know, this is detail that was brought back in post, and I probably dehazed the sky, dehazed the photograph to get more of the detail in the sky. And so I think that's what's happening here. I don't remember the exact details, but that's basically what I did, I think. And this one was shot at 1/80th of a second, f11 at ISO 100. There's this volcanic rock everywhere because it's a volcano island, basically, where they have the black rocks. But right in the middle of these rocks, they had these kind of flowers. And they were really, really interesting. I never seen these type of flowers before. And I'm really curious, what kind of flower? Do you guys know what flowers these are? If you know what flowers these are, let me know. I see these flowers in between these rocks, and they're, I guess, you know, when the water comes in, I guess they're going to be under the water. not. Maybe in this area, just the water stays out longer than before, and then lets the flower. I don't really know. But I found these flowers, and I thought, wow, like that is really cool, really interesting. And they were just, yeah, they were just there, blooming in between these volcanic rocks. Really cool. If you know what kind of flowers these are, let me know. I'd be really interested in knowing what they are. And since I was there, yeah, just got a photograph of it. Okay, so that's all for this little video. Let me know what you think down below. What was your favorite photograph? I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you have any critiques, if you have any, suggestions, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm happy to answer, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Take care.